Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Google Cloud Next. Who's excited to be? Yeah, I know you're excited to be here. We decided we're not going to talk about tech and really just do 20 minutes of stand-up. So we're going to put the fences up so you can't leave. All right, so maybe we will talk about the tech. Everyone, thank you for being here today. We are going to go deep, you guessed it, into data and how it has made a significant impact, well, with one of our customers. So we're going to click a button here and click it again. Nope, go back. So my name is Jeff DeVerter, and I am a field CTO over at a company called Pythian. And Pythian is a 28-year-old data and AI management company. How did they have AI 28 years ago? Well, they didn't. We were a data company. And as we'll talk about today, data is the foundation for everything. And I'm joined by my absolute new best friend, Caleb Carr. Caleb, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, Caleb Carr, Senior Director of Data
All
Science.
The way up.
Senior Director of Data Science and Engineering for Schnucks. I've been at Schnucks for about 10 years, responsible for our data science team as well as a lot of our application and supply chain technologies.
Fantastic. Okay, show of hands. Who is having challenges getting your organizations to modernize your data infrastructure in a way that's allowing you to be more successful? I'll just raise, we see it every single day, everywhere we go. In fact, the line I also use a lot is if you're responsible for managing data, let's see a show of hands here as well. Because you guys are the ones who have been locked in a corner, not given any budget for the past 30 years. But now you're the cool kids in the room, absolutely the cool kids. And we're going to learn about today how modernizing data infrastructure inside of a really unique grocery retail experience has made a significant impact in their business. So Caleb, tell us a little bit about Schnucks.
Yeah, Schnucks has been around for almost 90 years. We're a family-owned grocery retailer based in St. Louis, Missouri. We do a lot of work to support the communities we serve and have focused a lot over the last 5 to 10 years on really building that technical foundation to enable a lot of the work we're doing now.
Very good, and I love these examples of a business that's 90 years old. I mean, we're not using computers 90 years ago, but still the core foundation of what the business was being defined and codified even 90 years ago, and now utilizing the latest in technology to take that to the next step. Now, what we see in this specific industry, retail, grocery retail, is there's an absolute, like everywhere, absolute explosion in data. In fact, just back in 2019, the smart people in the world said that there was, about 45 zettabytes of data that was in flux at any given amount of time. Now that number today, 175 zettabytes. That's a lot. In case you didn't know, zettabyte is a lot. So, now there's also challenges in how the relationship between IT modernization and being able to move the business forward. This probably sounds very familiar to you. In fact, I have been working in IT for about 25 years. And over those 25 years, one of the most common things that we've heard is that whole digital transformation phrase. How are we going to modernize our infrastructure in order to make a difference in the business? And that's always been the challenge. How do we connect the change in tech to the advancement of the business? And it's not an uncommon problem. We see it everywhere, and retail experiences that as well. Now, as we all, of course, know, data is the foundation. It's the lifeblood. It is the gas in the car, as my coworker Ernest likes to say. It's the engine that makes AI actually run. But when we think about AI and how it's having an impact, Caleb, inside of the retail environment, how are grocers actually benefiting by utilizing AI in their environment? Now, 3 areas where we see this is in creative assistance, we see it in product innovation, and employee productivity. Caleb, any of that going on over at your shop?
Absolutely. We're really focused across the board. We have around 15,000 teammates working in our stores, and so one of the big focus areas we have is that we don't want technology to be just something that's done to our teammates, but really in conjunction and to support our teammates. And so as we work through that journey with them, it's all about really taking and leveraging a lot of AI technologies to make sure they have the information when they need it with no fluff. It's very tactical, it's very focused, and it's very actionable very quickly.
Just the right information at just the right time.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
How about in the design creation, creative assistance? I find in a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, the big, I've said this before to a lot of my coworkers, is for me, if I have a big project to start on, the hardest part of that project for me is just getting started sometimes, the inertia of the job. And what I find is if I utilize these tools to help me just get started, an outline of the project, maybe just the first few sentences of a longer document or presentation, then I'm on my way. How are you guys utilizing AI and creative assistance?
So we're using it across the board, both from a image generation, personalizing ads. One of the great things about a company like Schnucks is we're so ingrained in the community that our customers have been really willing to give us a lot of insights on what is most important to them. So we're really looking at leveraging not just generative AI and AI for creative assistance, but also for personalized creative, so that it resonates and meets our customers where they are and conveys the message that's most important to them.
Fantastic. All right, well, let's get into the nuts and bolts of it a little bit, and the challenge that you guys were experiencing in your data environment. So set the stage for us. What was the situation before we came in and helped you guys?
So over the last about 10 years, we've really been focused on a lot of our rewards and e-commerce platform, building that arm strength, learning, trying new things. But as we have grown, we had a lot of on-premise databases, particularly Oracle, which we still use for a lot of our operational databases and transactional systems. But as we were looking to scale and grow much more quickly and be able to offer that personalization to our customers, that's where we actually started working with Pythian to start looking at migrating to something that's a little more cloud native, or a lot more cloud native, and much more scalable.
All right, so where do we go? We took you out into Google Cloud, right?
Absolutely.
That's right. Tell me about the tech that we moved into.
So we're leveraging Postgres within the Google Cloud ecosystem, and so that has allowed both a lot of scalability, but also a lot more purpose-built functionality. One of the great things about our company's forward-looking technology is that we have a lot of technology. The downside of that is we have a lot of technology that's been around for a while, and so it really gave us that opportunity to say, where should we segment, where should we focus, and where should we improve as part of that journey to really leverage the capabilities that we now have.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so as technologists in the room, we could just camp out right here, what we did, what has happened in the nuts and bolts of the tech. But unfortunately, or fortunately, as technologists, we need to make sure that the technology activities that happened had a tangible business outcome. So I know that you guys are directly connected with those business units across marketing, across all the different areas. Let's talk a little bit about what the outcome of going from the diverse data sets into a concise set of data inside of Google Cloud were.
Absolutely, as we're looking, and especially we leverage BigQuery for a lot of our modeling and a lot of our data stores. So being able to pull some of that data over more quickly and in more close to real time into BigQuery has allowed a lot of work for our modeling to be able to run more quickly and in more real time to be able to serve our customers better.
Yeah.
But also as we look to scale, so something that's really unique about grocery as an example is people think about Black Friday. No one here has ever been to a grocery store on Black Friday. So our demand curve for our services are very different. It's leading up to big holidays. It's not your traditional things. And so being able to ensure that we have the scale to support those high demand days has been critical to the success of the project.
I love that. So supply chain, staffing, all of those things. So, but there's a phrase up here in one of the outcomes, and you talk about how through some of that modeling work, you were able to reactivate 1,200 lapsed customer. What is a lapsed customer?
That's a great question. So lapsed customers in the retail world are customers that we have done business with the Schnucks before, and for one reason or another have chosen to leverage or go to a different grocery retailer for their primary grocery shopping trips. And so there are actually different levels of lapse. You can lapse out of for example, deli, or you can lapse out of the company as a whole. And so as we look to drive that personalization and really engage with our customers, leveraging that technology has enabled us to bring those customers back in with personalized offers, personalized messaging, and really meet the customers where they are and where they feel comfortable without candidly crossing that creepiness line of engaging with customers effectively. And we have leveraged the majority of this data to make that project successful.
I love that. And as we move in really into our second area then, one of the ways you're able to do that, I mean, who here doesn't doesn't want to eat better. We were just having a conversation that we tend to leave these conferences with all of the photographic evidence that exists here, thinking, maybe I need to go home and do a little more exercise because those pictures are not what I was hoping to see. But one of the outcomes that we're driving towards with helping you guys out with BigQuery and using Postgres was to help customers find new ways to eat well and new ways to save money. And is that what you're referring to when you say creating these personalized plans?
Absolutely. So, as you think through, everyone are conscious of their grocery spend and their budget, and we want to make sure our customers are getting the maximum value for their grocery dollar at Schnucks. And so being able to leverage AI and the data we have to be able to say, here's a recipe, how can I use this? Or even things like, I have an ingredient, how can I stretch this ingredient to use it in multiple recipes? We have a huge library of recipes that we've created over the years, and we've integrated those into various AI platforms to do that kind of personalization.
I think that's great. Now, how many stores do you guys have?
114.
114 stores. On average, about how many people work in any given store?
We are at around 300 in an average store.
All right, so if anybody in the room is good with math or a calculator, you'd know that this is a really big number of people that you have to train and do staffing and resourcing for. How has this solution helped with training, staffing, resourcing, all of those things?
So training is something we're still really exploring. One of the great benefits of leveraging AI is the ability to personalize training. We have a lot of really diverse teammates, and so being able to build training in languages that they feel most comfortable has been really impactful as we look to be inclusive of our entire workforce, so that all of our communications and training aren't in English, if that's not the language they're most comfortable with. Another thing in terms of resourcing and planning is actually leveraging AI to build a task list that identifies the most critical customer-facing tasks and prioritize them. So as we look to really make sure that we're focused on the right things, we all have things in our jobs that we should probably ought to do, but maybe people may or may not notice if we do them. And so as we look to really ensure that we're focused on the right things to add value to our customers, those are the kinds of initiatives we're undertaking.
I love that. All right, so to summarize a little bit, data challenges, data solutions, business outcomes powered by AI or analytics in most cases.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. All right, so now let's talk about everybody's favorite phrase, and that is data governance. Who wants to go to a governance class? No, but how how have you guys approached governance in the AI world?
So really I'm actually going to take a step back.
Okay.
We have focused on data governance that happens to fit into our AI, because ultimately, if you're building your governance for AI, it's going to be messy.
Yeah.
And so as we've looked, we've really focused on curating our data. So, we have all of the technical things to do the general governance, but curating a data platform that mirrors our business. We have our different areas of the business, and we have longitudinal journeys that we've curated to be able to do or perform quick actions, quick experiments based on that curated data, which is really the output of a robust data governance platform.
It's fantastic. All right, so it's been such a great pleasure to get to work with Schnucks as a customer. They obviously get IT, they obviously get the importance of data, and not just as an asset in and of itself, but to drive it towards specific outcomes. And hopefully, as you go through the rest of your Google Cloud experience, the conference experience, you will look for the repetition of patterns just like this. Having data that's available, data that gets organized, and then resources and tools and activities that you can then use from that data to drive tangible, meaningful outcomes, whether that's with the employees, training plans, resourcing, staffing, whether it's supply chain, big holidays and activities that are coming along, or whether it is just helping people come back to the store and come back to the experience. So again, go deep inside of understanding your data, have a great plan. I love your approach on data governance feeds AI governance. We're going to have to steal that one. Or maybe we taught them. I don't know. And, but we have just a minute or two more. Anybody have any questions about this experience or how to get the most value out of your data? Oh, you're already so smart. We must have really covered it very well. I love that so much.
We clearly excelled.
We clearly excelled. We get an A. We get a star. Oh, there's a question. Yes. It's a really good question. The question was, what is next for Schnucks? I mean, this is great stuff that we've done, but What's next?
So really our big focus is, and I'm going to use all of the buzzwords that we've all heard 17 times and we're only a couple hours into the conference, but really focusing on a lot of the agentic frameworks are a big focus area for us as we look to automate a lot of those more nuanced tactical functions that we have that candidly no one likes to do, and seeing what that looks. So we're starting to do a lot of experimentation with agent space and other areas within the Google ecosystem, as well as really diving deeper into personalization. Our customers have been really receptive and really welcoming, and as we learn more about our customers and as they give us more of that information, really taking the time to say, what does a weekly ad look like for Jeff versus what does a weekly ad look like for Caleb? And they might be very different based on my dietary preferences, based on my budget, based on my historical spend. Maybe we've done some experimentation. Maybe that we know you've got an upcoming dinner party and we can help plan for that as part of that personalized experience. So really leveraging the technology to build those better relationships with Schnucks, and AI being a part of that journey to drive folks into the stores and really build the relationships with our teammates in the stores who have access to all of that information.
Right, I love this so much. AI is one of those technologies that is literally impacting every single industry, every single business. I mean, you may have thought, AI in a grocery store, well, I don't get it. Well, hopefully you do get it now, at least how we've gotten to where we are as an organization and where you're heading next.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. All right, now, you get to rate. You could win a new car, but I would love for you to go ahead and rate this session. If you have any questions, we're going to be around here for just a little bit more. Also, what is our booth number? 2787. Everybody say it together. 2787. Yeah. So, if you would like to learn more about how Pythian can help you and your organization do just like what we did for Schnucks, I would love to have that opportunity to visit with you about that. You can find myself or other folks from the organization, because we have these really nifty shirts that have our names on them, or a really cool bomber jacket like Lindsay is modeling and will take home and wear forever. And so everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to come and visit. We really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Good time, young man.